بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا وانفعنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. My dear respected brothers and elders and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So alhamdulillah, we've reached about, I think, the 8th juz in terms of stories. There are a couple of stories that we had to kind of like lean over or maybe skip over. Inshallah, we'll see at the end if we can come back, because juz 7 has a couple of stories that I really wanted to touch on. But in terms of like just keeping up with the days of Ramadan, should be like if you're reading every day one juz, if you're trying to keep that goal, then maybe about you'll be on juz 8 or something, inshallah. Okay. So mashallah, then the end of, I'm sorry, this is juz 7. So today's the 7th, yeah. So you would be reaching basically juz 7, juz 8, right? This is where Ibrahim alayhi story is. Okay. And mashallah, there's a really important, really deep lesson in this story, which I really wanted to get through, inshallah ta'ala. And I hope, inshallah, tomorrow I probably will get back to the Yusuf alayhi story, and then it'll be like an entire week of Musa alayhi. We'll see exactly how that goes. Allah to make it easy for all of us, inshallah ta'ala, and allow us to appreciate and benefit. And we'll see what other small little stories in between we can make, inshallah. We have a beautiful month left. Let's take advantage of the remaining last 10 days of the remaining 10 days of mercy, inshallah, and then the 10 days of forgiveness, and the 10 days from freedom from the fire of Jahannam, inshallah. May Allah give us all this benefit, inshallah. All right. So let's get started with the story, mashallah, because it's a long one. I think it's a long one, although it may feel a bit short for people, because there's a lot of things that we learn here. Okay. So basically, rolling from what we spoke about last time, about maintaining respect, right? If we remember from the beginning, this was something we highlighted, that Iblis failed at maintaining respect. When he spoke to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he disrespected Allah. He spoke in a very rude manner. He's like, Allah, why are you even asking me? Like that type of thing. I'm clearly better than Adam alayhi salam. That's how he asked, right? And then we find that this is what Adam did well at, right? Where, he maintained that adab, that when Allah asked him, why did you do it? Adam alayhi salam just said, Allah, please forgive us. It was our mistake, right? So he maintains that adab. And we saw that yesterday, Isa alayhi salam's disciples also did the same thing, right? They tried their best to maintain that level of respect for Isa alayhi salam, and they were asking in a way to not harm or not to bother Isa alayhi salam. So you saw that level, that we're always supposed to maintain this respect. Adab is it's a really integral part. Mannerisms, being good people is one of the biggest parts in Islam, and something that we're always like kind of losing out on or missing out on, especially when you're looking at our masajid. Like, unfortunately speaking, like when we come in here, we feel like we're in Jannah. And when we're in our own Jannah, what can we do? We can do whatever we want, right? So then we disrespect people. But that's not the way of Deen. It's not the way of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So we try our best to remember these things, inshallah. And so this is what we lose out on, unfortunately speaking. But this is something we're going to learn, okay? So, and again, I wanted to highlight this point about questioning is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with questioning, learning and asking and things like that. And you'll see a very interesting question come up in this story too, okay? Is that it's not wrong. Even certain things you say aren't wrong, but the manner in which you say it could be wrong, okay? So we have to be very careful of not coming off as rude or arrogant or people who are not trying to learn, okay? So we want to try our best when we're questioning or asking questions to actually come with the need of learning, inshallah, right? So now Ibrahim alayhi salam, let's get to him now, right? Why is this important? Because he is always questioning his people. He's always questioning his people. He doesn't let them sleep. He doesn't let them rest. He's always asking them about things. Why is this happening? Why are you worshiping this? Why are you worshiping that? He's always like that. So let's just get a quick breakdown of him, if we don't know him already, of course. He's the father of all the monotheistic religions, the biggest religions in the world, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, of course. He is the father of all these religions, right? Abul Adiyan, right? He gave da'wah to his father. He gave da'wah to his community. He gave da'wah to the king of his time, okay? Because of this da'wah, he was thrown into a fire. Allah Ta'ala had tested him and made him leave his family in the desert. And he was also tested by Allah to sacrifice his son. And ultimately, his father did not accept Islam, right? This is one of the biggest tragedies, if you're calling it a quote-unquote tragedy. Okay, but Ibrahim alayhi salam is looking for much bigger things than that on the Day of Judgment. He's asking Allah, I don't want to be disrespected or disgraced on that day. He knows his responsibility, which we'll get to at the end, inshallah. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It is a very sad point about Ibrahim alayhi salam's life that his father didn't accept Islam as well. But these are things that we have to come to terms with, okay? We can't force anyone to accept hidayah. We can't make anyone take the hidayah. It's only Allah's choice and decision. So we have to be careful with ourselves, inshallah, that we don't ever transgress our bound, okay? that look, things happen, we remain, our hearts remain firm, inshallah. We accept what Allah Ta'ala has decreed, okay? But even though our hearts and even though our eyes might cry and our hand might raise in dua, but we still remain with our hearts firm, knowing that Allah Ta'ala knows best, inshallah. Okay? And so in all these moments, he only feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only feared Allah. Okay? His tests were absolutely tough. These are tests that no one is tested with. Allah Ta'ala actually admits that in the Quran. وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ. When Allah Ta'ala tested Ibrahim with all of these special tests, these kalimat, these strong words from Allah, these strong hukum, these strong rulings of Allah Ta'ala gave to Ibrahim alayhi salam, but this never was given to anyone else. So don't ever think that you're going to be tested with these things. Even the smashing of idols, which we'll talk about in a second, was also a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So Allah Ta'ala, because of these things though, Allah Ta'ala gave him mention throughout the world. So again, with the level of the test, will be the level of reward from Allah. So keep that in mind. Many people go through a lot of difficulties in life, but remaining patient and firm, what you learn from Yusuf alayhi salam, remaining patient and trusting Allah and fearing Allah, what's going to happen is Allah will make sure your mention is saved and everyone else's mention is taken away. Even the people that wronged you will never be mentioned. But mashallah, for you being you, by you being a persevering, patient individual, Allah to preserve your mention, inshallah. Okay? So he's chosen, why is he mentioned so much in the Quran, other than all these amazing things he had, is because he's chosen evidence against the mushrikeen, because they all say we're the children of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the Jews, because obviously the Jews come from Ibrahim alayhi salam as well, and the Christians as well. All of them come from him, and he's a very good starting point for when we need to talk to non-Muslims about Islam. Because why? We want to say, hey, we're also from this tree of monotheism, although be it, they try to say that there's an illegitimate son or a son that's not really his and things like that, which is very weird to say about a prophet, okay? So we should be very careful about such words. And so we should remind them too that no, this is all from the monotheistic chain. This is all from the same lineage of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay? Aside from his family though, I want everyone to keep this in mind. MashaAllah, he's such a great individual. People talk about him so much. We talk about him with such love and adoration, so much love and mahabbah. We really do. But the thing is this, that aside from his family, in the Quran, we don't find any mention of anyone else accepting Islam for Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay? We only find for Aman al Lut. We only find that Lut alayhi salam believed in him. Okay? So what does this mean? That he was a lone believer, doing all this stuff by himself. Many a times there was no one around him, he just continues to give da'wah. That's why Allah acknowledges in the Quran that he is an ummah by himself. He's a nation by himself. He doesn't need anyone. He doesn't need any pampering or any social help. Where's the Mawlana I can go to get some assistance? He doesn't need that. He is the Mawlana, he is the Mufti. He's everything, mashallah. He's an ummah. Allah says he's literally a nation by himself. He can run himself, he doesn't need anyone. That's who he was, Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay? So now Allah Ta'ala, he mentions from the story point, he first starts off with this ayah. He says, وَهُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ. This is the ayah right before the story. Okay? He says, Allah Ta'ala, and he is the one who created the heavens and earth with purpose. Okay? And on the day when he says kun fayakun, when he will say be and it is, قَوْلُ الْحَقِّ, then the truth will come out. Right? Then Allah Ta'ala will make everything apparent. يَوْمَ يُنْفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ وَيَعَلِمُ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ وَهُوَ الْحَكِيمُ الْخَبِيرُ. Right? The day when the horn will be blown, and he's the knower of the seen and the unseen, and he's all wise and all aware. One way I just wanted everyone to kind of highlight when we're talking about this part is that he created the world to establish the truth. Allah also created the world to establish the truth. And people might say like, hey, wait, what are you talking about? There's no truth here. Well, obviously this world is for testing. Once we leave this world, everything will be settled on Qiyamah. Okay? Now you have to think about it, that everything that happened to you and I in this life, that we felt that we were cheated on or robbed on, or people disrespected us, all this stuff that happened wrong, on Qiyamah, Allah will set everything straight. Okay? Why is this important? Because Ibrahim alayhi salam, other than things he got in the world, people in his time still thought he was a failure. So Allah will set everything straight on the day of judgment. Now you and I need to remember this, that we're preparing for that day. We're waiting for that day. That's all we're waiting for. That's why you're doing this Ramadan, everything, right? Because on the day of judgment, I expect my reward from Allah. And I want to enter Jannah, right? This is what we want here. So remember those things. Don't get distracted by things that are coming in and coming out. Life is all about things coming in and things going. That's what life is. Babies are born and people die. This is what life is about. Don't get distracted by the hustle and bustle of life. Continue going, knowing that the end of the road is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So now let's look at the timeline of Ibrahim alayhi salam's life. He is, first of all, an adolescent who sees the ignorant ways of his people. Right? He's not a prophet at this moment. He tries to reason with them, but they do not listen to him. Okay? We remember this part. And so what does he do? Allah inspires him to break the idols. This is again inspiration from Allah Ta'ala. This is not for you and I. We should not go into any temple ever to think like, oh, we're following Sunnah Ibrahim. No, you're not. You're following Sunnah Iblis. Okay, don't do that. Okay? Because why? Because we respect other religions. They have their choice. Let them choose. Okay? Allah Ta'ala inspires him to break the idols. And then the fire incident happens. And while he's in the fire, the scholars have written that Ibrahim actually accepted Islam within the fire. He became a Nabi within the fire. Okay? He became a Nabi within the fire, which probably makes the most sense if you think about it. I think so. Some scholars have written that the angels came with him and prayed with him in the fire as well. Because he lasted so long without food and drink, right? I mean, come on, if you're not a prophet, I don't know what you are, right? Like, yeah, so in any case, so that's probably the most likely place where he got the prophethood. Okay? Then he returns to his people to give the da'wah, which is this part right here that we're going to talk about today. And then he goes and news reaches Nimrud, the Nimrod of his time, the king of his time. And then he meets Ibrahim, and that entire thing where he gives da'wah to the king happens. And then the last part of Ibrahim's da'wah in the Quran is actually to his father, which is in Surah Maryam. Okay? That's actually the last part. And if we get there, inshallah, I can explain that. But we'll see exactly where we are in that time, inshallah. So in any case, I want everyone just to get an idea. If you ever wondered how does Ibrahim's life look in terms of da'wah, this is how it was. First to the breaking of the idols, then inside the fire, then to return to his people to give da'wah, which we'll talk about today, inshallah. And then the news reaches the king. And then finally, Ibrahim delivers his last da'wah to his father in Surah Maryam. Okay? And then after that, he leaves everyone and he goes to a different land. Right? And that's where like the thing happens with the Kaaba and Makkah and whatever. Okay? وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. So Ibrahim is back. After the entire fire incident, he returns. And he says to his father, and you have to think about it. You know, he just smashed all the idols. They're clearly still recuperating. You know, and who is the guy who makes idols? His father, Azar, right? Azar is a Persian word which means fire, because he was the one in charge of the fire worshipping. Okay, so this is his title. They say that his actual name was Tariq or Tera or something like that. I don't know. Tera in Arabic in Bangla means like to be crooked, which I thought was hilarious. Okay, in any case, Azar is what you call it? He says to his father, and Allah Ta'ala calls him by his title out of respect, because you don't want to disrespect a prophet. Allah Ta'ala is very careful with his prophets too. So he says the title of him, which is what? The wicked fire maker, the one who makes idols. Okay? So he goes to him while he's making these idols, and the people around him trying to get back their entire civilization, because Ibrahim literally smashed the entire civilization to pieces, right? He comes back and like, are you guys still taking these idols as lords? You know, okay? He comes out hard. He's not here pulling any punches. He says, I see you, and I see your community, your qawm, your entire nation, in manifest error. All you guys are wrong. Okay? This is the time where he's calling everyone out, because they threw him in a fire. Okay? Now it's not the time to be like, Abuji, I know, mashallah, you're mashallah, trying your best and stuff, but like, if you can just worship Allah a little bit. No, this is the time to call everyone out. And Ibrahim never pulls any punches. You look at him, his entire life is what? Allah is one, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows he's one. And I'm going to live like that, and I don't care what people are going to say. Okay? So what do you find? Ibrahim calls them out. This is open da'wah. He's in front of them giving the message of Islam. This is where the debate arena starts. Okay? And of course, I just told you this is the first time speaking after the fire incident. He fears no one but Allah. Right? I wish we had this quality of fearing no one but Allah, because then life would be very different for us. Okay? So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after this part starts, وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. Allah Ta'ala takes a narrator perspective. He takes you behind the scenes. So when Ibrahim is not speaking to them, Allah Ta'ala says, and like that we were going to show Ibrahim the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, the malakut. We'll come back to that word in a second. But he said, Allah Ta'ala said, I'll show him the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ, so that he may be firm in belief. Whatever he's going to say, he'll say with yaqeen. Okay? He'll say with conviction. What does this mean? That the showing of Allah Ta'ala to Ibrahim alayhi was when he went bravely to face his community. When people go in with iman and yaqeen, saying that I'm going to do Islam, I don't care what people are going to say. When you do that, Allah Ta'ala will show you things that people cannot see. This is what we're learning from this ayah here. That these two ayat are showing that when Ibrahim he took the first step to Allah, Allah came running to him. This is what Allah Ta'ala says to us in Hadith Qudsi. If you come to me walking, I come to you running. If you even go a handspan, Allah Ta'ala comes to you by an arm's length. If you go to Allah Ta'ala by an arm's length, He comes to you by a wingspan. If you go to Him walking, Allah Ta'ala comes to you running. This is what Allah Ta'ala is. So Allah Ta'ala showed Ibrahim alayhi when he went bravely. This is what we are missing today, unfortunately. People are so scared of everything. Everything. Trump is watching us, the police are watching us, this guy's watching us, NSA, MLB, whatever it might be. Right? We're just meaning all these different letters together. We're scared of everyone, so we fear exposing it. So then we fear wearing the hijab. We fear being called, these different names. We fear to grow our beards or cover our heads, right? We fear to pray in front of people. We fear about everything. We fear about changing. We fear our families. We fear our friends. We fear everyone. Even when we say, mashallah, inshallah, in front of a non-Muslim, we get scared. Oh my God, I revealed who I am. I expose myself. He knows my true identity. Like what? Look, you are who you are. Don't change. Allah doesn't change. You don't change. Okay? The Deen of Islam is like that. You can't be scared. If you're scared, you're always going to live in your four walls. You're always going to be quarantined. Even outside the pandemic, you'll still be quarantined. Make sure you're brave, because then Allah will change the world around you. Allah made it a promise in the Quran. He said that He will not change the communities until they change themselves. Once you change yourself and your attitude, you'll see that Allah will change the world around you. And I mean it. I mean it. Okay? So now the biggest idol today, if we're talking about idols, is ourselves. We're still worshipping ourselves. Because we don't want to change us, because we think we are bigger than Allah. Astaghfirullah Azim. That's how we are. We're not willing to change our marriages. We're not willing to change our funerals. We're not willing to change our outlook, our perspective, not willing to change anything. Because why? Because it doesn't matter if Allah is worshipped or not. I got to be worshipped. I got to be respected. I got to be honored. So we have to trash and destroy this idol of ourselves. Don't worship yourself. That will not get you anything. Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will get you everything. Okay? So now, if Muslims were out to go out to be brave, Allah to remove all the doubts. Really, that's what it's being shown here. That Allah gave Ibrahim some certainty. He was always certain. There's nothing doubt. He's a Nabi, right? But the higher level of certitude, higher level of yaqeen was distributed to him. You and I will get higher yaqeen when we decide to just say, you know what, I'm just going to do things. Okay? And not be scared of people, not even be scared of a virus. Because why? It's Allah's will. If Allah wills, it will happen or not. That's why the word malakut is really important here. There's something called mulk, which is the regular things that you and I see, physical things, which is mulk. Malakut is the behind the scenes. Okay? So like Allah has a rahmah, and they say there's the rahamut, right? Allah's rahmah is what you see apparent, right? But the rahamut is what's actually inside. So when you see the mulk in front of you, when you see the kingdom of Allah in front of you, there's a deeper layer that you and I are not looking at. So for example, I'll give you, for example, the water that you see in front of you when you're about to do your iftar. Okay? So now a person who's not really well versed in Islam would just look at the water and be like, okay, I gotta break my fast, and then I gotta eat a lot of food, gotta finish my dinner, gotta go pray Maghrib, gotta do this and this, and they're not really think about what's happening around them. Whereas a Muslim would look at the glass of water and say, Subhanallah, Allah Ta'ala prepared this water 50,000 years before I was even created. And Allah Ta'ala got it from the springs, from the source of water. He made sure the molecules came together, and He brought it for me for the hukum of what? For the ruling of what? That I can break my fast. He doesn't look at the water the same way. Okay? He doesn't look at the medicine the same way. He looks at the medicine and says, Ya Allah, if you wrote shifa in it, if you wrote a cure, it will give me a cure. If it doesn't, it's not going to benefit. He goes to rest and says, Ya Allah, I only have 2 hours to sleep, but if you want, it'll be 12 hours. Allah Ta'ala, it's only dependent on Allah. When you're looking at malakut and not the mulk, you're not looking at what's in front of you, look behind. You're only looking at Allah Ta'ala's commands. That's all you're looking at. What is Allah Ta'ala doing here? What is the command of Allah? Looking at the virus here. All right, death is going to come. Death is going to come. So Allah Ta'ala gave it a name called coronavirus. Or Allah Ta'ala gave it a name, an accident in a car. Allah Ta'ala gave it a name. It was just the command of Allah, just taking a certain form right now. I was going to break my fast. How was I going to break my fast? Allah gave me water. Allah gave me dates. I'm only looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm looking at Allah Ta'ala. He interacts with me and how I interact with Allah. That's all I'm looking at here. That's what it means when you look at malakut. So Ibrahim is being shown the deeper level of life. Okay? That's what we want everyone to move towards. You got to move past the normal. Normal is what? It is a setting on a washing machine. Okay? Don't be normal. Okay? Our teachers told us very beautifully. He said, every ordinary Muslim is an extraordinary human being. Every ordinary Muslim is an extraordinary human being. You and I are amazing individuals. Look at the way we look at life. Even when we're fasting, we're still worried about other people. We're trying to help people. That's how we are. But look beyond these things. Stop getting stuck in what you're seeing in front of you. Or you're going to miss the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, where he's telling people, you're getting stuck at the star, the moon, and the sun. You got to move past these things. Right? That's what he wants everyone to do. So now he goes and says, so Allah Ta'ala helps him. فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَى كَوْكَبًا. When the night enveloped him, when the night came onto him, he saw a star. قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. Okay, he said, this is my Lord. Now when people normally hear this, they're thinking Ibrahim is doing shirk. Astaghfirullah. Like that's what happens when we're not well versed or studying the Quran the way it's supposed to be studied. That's why I gave you the entire timeline in the first place, because I want you to let you know he's already a prophet by this time. He's not saying out of shirk, okay? Allah literally just told you that he's a nabi. We want to show him the heavens and you make him from the people who are certain. Allah is praising him, right? He's a muwahhid. He's someone who believes in the oneness of Allah. And he just told them they were all wrong. How the heck do you think he's going to start worshiping the star? It doesn't make any sense with the story. This is a debate. This is a debate. So what's happening here? He says, okay. He points at the star. He says, all right, this is my Lord. Let's see what the Lord does. Okay? All right, Jesus is my Lord. No problem. Let's see what happens. Like he says, hypothetically speaking, he's telling to everyone that hypothetically speaking, let's say this is my Lord. Let's see how it goes. Okay, let's see how life goes. So Allah is helping him through this battle. Number one, I want everyone to recognize this, that subhanAllah, Allah is helping him through this battle against kufr by providing him solid evidence. Throughout this entire time, Allah is behind Ibrahim a.s., supporting him, first showing him the star, then the moon, then the sun, like you all know, right? And so when you are giving da'wah, we forget what we're giving da'wah while being so boss and amazing with our proofs and evidences and nice lectures or whatever, we forget to make dua. How can you get anyone to get hidayah without Allah? That's impossible. That's impossible. So you need to make dua. You need to make dua in the middle of your da'wah. Da'wah is has the word dua in it, if you ever forget. So while we're giving da'wah, we make dua. Ya Allah, please guide. Ya Allah, please guide. Ya Allah, please guide. Because Allah will give you an evidence that you can never even imagine. Allah is doing what for Ibrahim alayhi salam? He's making it nighttime. He's moving the heavens and earth for him to get his da'wah across. This is how amazing Allah is making it for Ibrahim alayhi salam. So it is permitted, by the way. So this is showing it's jaiz to make hypothetical scenarios to make people understand. All right, let's say Jesus is my God. He died on the cross. So does that mean I can go out and drink now? Can I go smoke some weed now because it's all fine? What does it matter if I die in Corona or not? I'm already going to go to heaven, right? Like, no, that's not what it meant. What are you talking about? You just told me. Doesn't make it, hypothetically speaking, doesn't make any, So you can do that. Ibrahim alayhi salam teaches us important lessons. This is not against the respect of Allah. It's completely fine to say hypothetically speaking. That's completely fine. Okay? So now he continues. He says, all right, this is my Lord. So then they wait a little bit. So when it disappeared, he's like, hey, John. Like in the gathering, he's like, hey, John, the star disappeared. I don't like those guys who disappeared. Do you like them? He's talking to the audience. He's like, hey guys, do you like, the fact that where'd the star go? It's set, right? These things will vanish. Okay? It's like, oh, so it's gone, huh? How do you worship those things would change? How do you worship those things that change? If it's something in creation, it'll always be moving, right? It'll always be changing from one state to another. How do you worship something that you don't know if it'll be your God today or be your God tomorrow? How do you worship something that'll be there or not there? You don't even know. I think a Lord should be someone that you should be able to trust 24/7. At 2 a.m., you should not be looking, is the star out or not? You should be able to say, okay, my Lord is here. So could you, and then, because I know this might be a little far for people because it's like shirk stuff. Let's take it to Christians. They're like the closest of mushriks to us right now, right? So how do you worship a God that decides to be a man and then die and then go back to himself? It doesn't make any sense. Right? It doesn't make any sense. Right? So then, and someone could say though, but hey, Sheikh, you're saying this, but the stars are still there. Obviously, because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. It's there, right? But Ibrahim is not talking on that level. He's not talking on a science level. He's talking on their level, okay? He's talking based on their religion. He knows their religion because they believe stars to have the power when they're at the highest points, right? He knows when they disappear, they become weaker. So Ibrahim is actually calling them out on that. And we could call them out on that too. All right, so okay, Jesus is God, all right? No problem. Hypothetically speaking. So what happened when he died on the cross? Where was God at that moment? Right? Like you can start to poke holes in people's religions, right? And we don't even talk about Judaism because they don't even accept you anyways. Like the black Jews, they don't accept them. That's the thing. All these other religions are really broken, right? And I'm not here to critique anyone and say, oh, astaghfirullah, that's not the point here. What we're trying to say is, rationally speaking, intellectually speaking, these things just don't stand. They don't stand. They don't have any sound backing. Okay. So now Ibrahim in the beginning, he smashed their idols, right? He showed them that you guys made these idols. Okay, so he showed the origin of these idols were not, that they proved that they're not gods. And now he's showing, look at the end of these idols. They're not gods as well. Beginning or end, they're not gods. He's like, why are you worshiping them? Okay, he's like, hey, was Jesus born? So God was born? He just, you can start poking weird holes and it gets really uncomfortable for the Christian to hear these things. But the point is what? When you're in this level of debate or on the stage, it's a different type of discussion. Okay, we're never going to do this on a regular Christian brother and sister. But this is on the level of debate, of course, right? Now, Ibrahim is completely rational. I want everyone to recognize this, mashallah. He's just doing rational things, not talking anything from Quran and Sunnah, not showing them from the Prophet Muhammad said this, or even from the Quran or whatever book he had, right? He's just showing them from actual intellectual understanding. That's all he's doing here. He's saying what? That look, God must be there. How is God going to disappear? How is he going to take care of the world if he's gone? Right? How's the world supposed to function without him? You know, he's saying this logically speaking. Because why? Because the universe needs a creator. The universe needs a creator. That's how we come up to this understanding. That the entire universe, you thought it came to itself from nothing? Are you an idiot? Like, you wouldn't even see 3 blocks, 3 bricks on the side of the road. If I told you, like I remember this brother Bilal, he told me this one time, and I loved it so much. He's like, if, you know, he was talking to this one guy, and he said that, hey, if I were to tell you that like the light in the ceiling just magically went up there by itself, right? And then, you know, it screwed itself in, right? You would call me crazy for thinking like that. He said, but isn't it crazier to think that the universe came together by itself? So you're not willing to accept even a light bulb, and then you accept the entire universe? Obviously, like one sheikh, he said, he's laughing in his talk. I was there, like, what the heck is he saying? He said, if there was a big bang, there has to be a big banger. And big banger sounds like what you and I do in the bathroom after iftar, you know? But like, that's the thing, like, subhanAllah, the universe needs a creator. It just makes sense. Like, literally, it's literally the most straightforward thing. If it's something that's you know, that's made, is designed, clearly has a designer. This is just logical, right? So now, this is why is this important? Is because our deen should be based on a reason. Okay, it should be based on logic. It should be based on understanding. We're following Islam because it makes sense. We do. Really, because it makes sense. Okay, and it'll always make sense because it's based off of Allah. Allah Ta'ala makes sense. He's Alim. He's Hakim. And this deen has so much wisdom. Now, I want everyone to be careful. When you're raising your children, remember they live in a society where God is not present anywhere. Okay? They're studying their books, they don't see it. I bought the book on Al-Jabr by Khwarizmi, the book on algebra by Khwarizmi the other day. And I was just checking like the beginning of his book. He writes, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. In the book of algebra, he writes, Alhamdulillah, praise be to the one that Allah made a system for everything. And then he talks about algebra, saying that this is important because how are you going to do inheritance laws? How are you going to do zakat? Like, how are you going to do anything without, I'm not sure, like, so you remember that Islam, we taught with Allah always being in the classroom. But kids today are not taught with Allah in the classroom. So be very careful that when they go outside, God is not there. You are their only connection to Islam. As parents, we're the only connection to Islam. But be very careful that we teach them through love of Allah, make them love Allah, and be reasonable in terms of parents. They're going to ask questions, be ready with answers, and ask the Maulana, maybe you need a good answer, he can give you one. And mashallah, it could be good enough for your kids. So now in any case, now we continue. Okay? So now Ibrahim alayhi salam, first the star came up, and then the star disappeared. فَلَمَّا رَأَى الْقَمَرَ بَازِغًا قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. Okay? Then he saw the moon come out. قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. He said, all right, this is my Lord now. We're shifting gods. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَا. And he goes and says, but when it vanished, قَالَ إِلَّمْ يَهْدِنِي رَبِّي. He goes and says, John, if my God is not there to guide me, لَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الضَّالِينَ. I'm going to be from the misguided people. I need my God to be there. If he's not there, I'm going to get lost, right? Life is a very tricky path. Any second could be in one. You can walk off the straight path. You make dua every single day. We make it how many times? 5 times a day, every single rak'ah, right? We're making dua, Ya Allah, ihdina siratal mustaqim, because we need guidance. So Allah Ta'ala literally, it says in the Quran, bazighan. The word bazighan does not just mean to just appear. It means it pierces the night. Meaning what? That Allah Ta'ala made it clear that the moon literally shone on their faces. That everyone's going to see the moon right now. So what's happening is what? Everyone can see it. Allah Ta'ala is moving the heavens to aid Ibrahim alayhi salam. That's a true da'i. Allah Ta'ala will connect his heart to the malakut. And he'll be able to show things to people that people could normally not see. Okay? And he goes and says, look, I'll definitely be from the misguided people. I need my Lord to be there. Okay? If your God is not there and you can't see him anymore, how do you know where to go? Because if you're following the light, you're thinking the star is light, so you're following it. The moon is light, so you're following it. The sun has light, so you're following it. All right, he's not there anymore. Where are you supposed to go now? Okay? That's what we asked the Christian. Okay, fine. For those 20, 30, 40, whatever, 1, 2 days, whatever amount of time he was on the cross, was your Lord guiding you? Like, I mean, like, honestly, like, you know, or Ibrahim alayhi salam, Jesus wasn't there. Adam alayhi salam, Jesus wasn't there. Like, he wasn't there. So how are you saying that you're supposed to be guided by him? How do you know to go without him? Okay? Or are you saying that life was misguided for such a long time and then there was guidance? Muslims never say that, by the way. We always say what? Every prophet came with guidance. And the last Nabi Muhammad came with the final guidance. That's what we say. So we always had a path. But it's not the way for people of shirk. You and I always know what to do. And you'll be like, but Sheikh, I don't see Allah. I don't get to see Allah, but you know what Allah Ta'ala wants. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. You know what He wants. Even though you don't want to do what He wants, you know what He wants because He gave you a book of all of His words. And these are not like, oh, John reported from Matthew or John or Luke or David or Marcus or whatever. You have it from what? From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Qala Allahu ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala said these words. You know exactly what you and I need to do. And I challenge people and I tell people that look, if you're having a difficult time, make dua to Allah. Ya Allah, give me guidance. Then open up the Quran. Open up the Quran. And then ask Allah for the hidayah. You'll find that Allah will guide your eyes to the part that you need to see. I remember this one story on, someone showed me this on YouTube the other, like way back. They said this one atheist guy, he was like so much in doubt. So basically what happened was he's like, I don't believe in this Islam and stuff. So then he decided to, try it out one day. He had to transition the Quran. So what did he do? He took like this night, he took this one night, and then he put like these candles out. He opened up the window at home. He made it as spiritual as he could, right? As spiritual as he could. And then he put the Quran on the table and he said, God, if you're there, give me a sign. God, if you're there, give me a sign. And he's waiting. And obviously that's not the way Allah works, right? You can't, Allah doesn't work on the way you want, right? He works on the way that He does, right? That's who Allah is. I only expect the Lord to be what? That He makes me do what He wants, right? I don't just, make Him do what I want, right? That's what a Lord is, right? He's not my slave, right? So in any case, so what happens is what? That he opens up the Quran, he gets frustrated. It's like, this God doesn't exist. Then he gets upset, so he like slams the Quran and he like opens it up to a page and his eyes literally fall onto the ayah which says, haven't we shown you enough signs? And then he accepts Islam. SubhanAllah. So you and I will always know what to do, but you guys may not want to do what Allah Ta'ala says. This is the problem here. We know that there are certain ways to get barakah in a nikah, but will we do them or not? We don't want to. We know that certain things help on a funeral and don't help during a funeral. Will we do them or not? We don't want to. So who can we blame? That's us. Okay? So in any case, so we continue. So then, and the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, if that doesn't work for you, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whenever anything difficult happened in his life, you pray 2 rakats. I challenge everyone, and I mean it. Try it. Just try it. When things get tough, don't go to plan A, B, C, D or whatever. Go to plan Allah. Just go to Allah. Just make 2 rakats. You'll see how Allah takes care of it. I mean it. From my own personal experience, I feel so weak. Outside Ramadan, in Ramadan, I feel like this is the best thing ever every single time to do. Make sure we do these things, inshallah. Allah will give you guidance. I promise it. But trust Him, inshallah. Okay? So now, فَلَمَّا رَأَى الشَّمْسَ بَازِغَةً. So now he went through the star, he went through the moon. Now he goes to the sun. He says, هَذَا رَبِّي. He said, right, the sun came out. This is my Lord. And he's been arguing for quite some time. If you think about the level of this debate, it's not a 1-hour debate. He's been at it for hours talking to these people. Okay? And he says, all right, the sun came out. This is my Lord. هَذَا أَكْبَرُ. This is bigger. This is greater than everything. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَتْ قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِّمَّا تُشْرِكُونَ. He says, all right, when it disappears, because what? This is the greatest one. It gives out the most light. It should guide the most. And they already know what he's going to say. He says, oh Qawm, that what? That I am free. I am free from whatever you associated with Allah. I'm completely free. I don't have anything to do with these things anymore. Okay? So why? Because Ibrahim tackles the biggest God that they have. He tackles the highest level of God they have. He makes sure to hit it at the place where it hurts the most. Because they can't find anything bigger in the world, right? It's the sun. That's the biggest thing that they have to worship. So he hits that. He targets that. So similarly, what a Muslim needs to do is that when they're developing in their debate, at the end, they need to strike the hardest. Okay? So then if we needed to challenge, like Ahmad Dida did it one time very beautifully, he goes and says, when someone said that Jesus died for our sins, he said that would any court accept an innocent man to be executed on behalf of the guilty? So that would any court in the world ever accept that an innocent man die because someone else is guilty? So this doesn't make any sense. And why would God kill His own son? If you're saying God had to be just, why would He kill His own son then? That doesn't make any sense. There's no logic here. But it's a mystery of God. Like you can't just cop out like that. We don't even say we say Allah that created everything. Understanding God is too beyond our level, of course, because we're human beings. Our brains can't even fathom like Allah's plan. How can you fathom Allah? Obviously. But like we never say it's a mystery. We know how everything works. Alhamdulillah, right? So now I tell you, just thank Allah that Islam makes sense. Really. Shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Really, shukr to Allah that Islam just makes sense. And I explained this thing the other day. Someone asked me about tattoos. Like, why is it haram? Stuff like that. I'm like, look, the Prophet said no. He's like, but like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. I'm like, look, your body belongs to God. It makes sense, okay? You don't have any right to say what you want to say. I don't want to be hard on him. I try to be nice to him. But basically, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Look, it's not your body. It goes back to Allah, And one sheikh said it very nicely. He said, if you want to get a tattoo, then you have tattoos in Islam. It's called henna. Like put on the henna. He said, when your aql comes back to you, when your brains come back to you, the henna will wear off anyways. Don't get anything, like, why are you acting? And then he's like, oh, but I'll put it on my chest. I'm like, then what's the point? You're not even be able to see it. Like, what, like, are you gonna put it upside down? Like, I don't get it. Like, people are so weird. And then they say we make sense, but you don't make sense. No, Islam makes sense. Okay, everything makes sense in Islam. Okay, so there's nothing left in the world to be worshipped. He literally destroyed everything. Okay, so then he goes and says, "Inni wajjahtu wajhiya lilladhi fatara as-samawati wal ard hanifa wa ma ana min al-mushrikeen." This is why Imam Abu Yusuf, rahimahullah, by the way, says you should recite this before your salah to get your mind in focus. He says, "I've turned my face towards the one who had created the heavens and the earth, the originated the heavens and the earth, hanifa, on the straight way, wa ma ana min al-mushrikeen." Okay. And I'll make this clear, like what he said, the one who originated the heavens and the earth, he's saying that this being that created the heavens and the earth has such massive power, so strong, so powerful, so mighty, and in order to take care of the heavens and the earth, he still needs to be here. Meaning what? That one who created the heavens and the earth is still here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still here. He's listening to me right now when I speak. He's watching me while I'm giving this dars. And you all here sitting at home, mashallah, he's also watching you and listening to you. He's still here. He's still attentive to us. He's still watching our needs. Alhamdulillah, let us get Ramadan. Make shukr to Allah. Like, we're so ungrateful these days. Okay? I turn my face. It is literally means to do something. When you say wajjahtu, it's different from saying wajjahtu. Wajjahtu means that I turn my face over and over and over again. I do it all the time. I constantly do it. Because it's not a one-time thing. That you think I said la ilaha illallah, that's it. No. Every single day we pray. How many times? 5 times, if not more. Every time we read Fatiha, we're always asking Allah because we need the guidance every single time. Don't think that I said it once and that's enough. No, your entire life now is dedication. I'm going to try every single moment of my existence to worship this Lord of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm going to turn my face every single time towards Him. Okay? We need the reminder though. This is what happens. We lose the reminders and then we get weak on our iman. We need to hear it over and again and again and again. That Allah is my Lord. I worship Him. I don't worship myself. I don't worship creation. I don't get obsessed. I don't get blinded. Okay? Hanif means someone who naturally inclines towards something. He said Hanifa, right? When you hear Hanifa, that means someone this is so natural. Meaning what? That the way of the atheist of not worshiping God, there's no atheist on a sinking ship, obviously. They're all going to call out for God, right? This is what happens here as well. Okay? So Ibrahim completely smashed their worldview. He completely smashed it. I don't know if you can say anything else. After this bayan, you're like, Hamza Zoris, you did it. Like, damn, they're dead, right? And you must have thought they must have accepted Islam, right? Because that's how every good story in the Muslims tell, they end, what? Like the guy talked to him and then he accepted Islam. Or she talked to her and then they accepted Islam. That's what we say, right? The stories always end with, they accepted Islam. But it's not the case here, okay? Literally the next ayah says is people continue to argue with him. He smashed their worldview. Literally, you and I are like, man, there's no way they can come back. They're all dead, like the idols were. He smashed the idols, now he smashed them. But then what happens is what? Is people don't accept. Okay? And so that's what happens. You and I, we get blinded. We're like, where's the part where the person accepts Islam? That's not the goal here. The goal is not results. The goal is what? That Allah Ta'ala just wants to see you do the work. And Allah Ta'ala is happy with you. The results is what? Allah Ta'ala is pleased with you. And when you know that, when you're doing things for Allah, not for people and not for results, then you'll find Allah Ta'ala will take more work from you. When we're doing it only for Allah. So Ibrahim is getting yelled at by his people. They're still arguing with him. He says, are you arguing with me about Allah when He already guided me? And I don't fear what you guys have done shirk now, except that which my Lord has willed. If it happens, it happens. وَسِيَ رَبِّي كُلَّ شَيْءٍ عِلْمًا. My Lord has knowledge of everything. أَفَلَا تَتَذَكَّرُونَ. Don't you take a lesson? He's getting yelled at by his people and he's arguing back now. And he goes and says, and how can I fear what you made shirk about? When you're not even scared, you made shirk to Allah. Because if you die, if I die and, he says, hypothetically, if I'm wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to Jahannam. There's no Jahannam to worry about. But for you all, if you're wrong, there's a Jahannam you have to worry about. So he's reminding them, okay? He's telling them, look, it's not a joke that you made shirk with Allah. Don't think it's just fun and games here. You're having a little bit of fame and stuff. He says that you're going to have to pay with Jahannam at the end. So he says, now which group is more right to be in safety and to be in peace? In kuntum ta'lamun, if you really know, okay? And then he said, and so this is what we need to remind ourselves, that when we're talking and discussing with people, we're not about winning or losing. People, after listening to a debate, like, oh, he smashed him, he won. It's not about winning or losing. It's about what? Real stuff that people can go to Jannah or Jahannam. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. That if an atheist dies without kalima, they die without Islam. La ilaha illallah. It's a serious matter. If our family members are going towards atheism, we need to explain things to them. We need to make dua for them, serious dua, because if they die with Jahannam. La ilaha illallah. We need to make conscious dua, lots of dua, and beg Allah. And then with that power of the dua, we hope Allah will give them hidayah, at least love of Islam in their heart. Because that could be enough. We don't know on the Day of Judgment. Allah is very kind, Okay. So in any case, let's just finish up inshallah, just maybe about 2-3 minutes inshallah. So in any case, he continues with tilka, because I found this, people thought that this is the end of the discussion, but this is not the end. Okay, this is not the end. So Allah Ta'ala says this is our proof that we gave to Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay, ala qawmi, on his community. Narfa'u darajatin man nasha, we raise the statuses of whoever we want. Inna rabbaka hakimun alim. Okay, if you were there in the gathering, you would have thought that the crowd was not on his side. You would have thought by being there that people were getting ready to throw popcorn and drinks at him. Okay, you would have thought that he came into like a church and then dissed all their idols, and then you thought he wasn't even going to leave there alive. Honestly, right? You would have thought he lost the debate because no one was on his side. There was no Twitter followers, there's no Facebook friends, there's nothing. He didn't gain anyone. No one accepted Islam for what he did. It seemed like it won because you and I are rational people, but to the people that were there, they're like, well, this guy's a loser. Okay? But I want everyone to know that Allah Ta'ala is pleased. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Narfa'u darajatin man nasha." We raise status to whoever we want. So he won the debate because Allah Ta'ala is happy with him. So that's what we need to remember. Then when we give da'wah, it doesn't even matter if people accept Islam or not. If there's 1 million people here, if there are 5 people here listening, my job is what? Then I need to prepare the bayan. I got to get it ready for me. That I have to show Allah, Ya Allah, I did this for you. You need to accept it. And all the hours, all the preparation will always be accepted by Allah. He's so kind. Okay? So we have to remember this. Allah does please. So you must think further. It's not only about the debate. Maybe you won by insulting and degrading them. Maybe you were disrespectful. You might have won the debate. People probably laughed at your jokes. People thought you were funny. People thought you were a good guy. But by Allah Ta'ala, you were disrespectful. You lost the debate. So it's not about that one debate. It's about thinking further. How do we know this? Because the next ayah says, وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. We gave him Ishaq and Yaqub. I want to ask everyone, which nation did Ibrahim come from? We don't even know because we don't even care. Because we don't care. Why do we care? They all died. You know, they're not even relevant. They're only history pages now. But who did Ibrahim get? Ishaq and Yaqub. Kullan hadayna. We guided all of them. Wa Nuhan hadayna min qabl. And don't forget Nuh. People forget about Nuh. He's the source of everything, right? MashaAllah. He was the first Rasul of Allah Ta'ala, the first messenger of God. And MashaAllah, he gave da'wah so firmly for 950 years. Allah Ta'ala made sure that he continued too. Okay? وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِهِ. And this is the part in the Taraweeh. You're like, I know this part. وَمِن ذُرِّيَّةِ دَاوُودَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ وَأَيُّوبَ وَيُوسُفَ وَمُوسَى وَهَارُونَ وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Like, oh, those are prophets. Why is Allah mentioning them? Because Ibrahim won the debate. That he got all these prophets in his lineage. Okay? وَزَكَرِيَّا وَيَحْيَا وَعِيسَى وَإِلْيَاسَ كُلٌّ مِّنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. This part, like, man, I love this part because I know all these names, mashallah. So Allah Ta'ala is saying that in Zakaria, Yahya, Isa, and Ilyas, all these prophets we gave him. وَإِسْمَعِيلَ وَيَسْعَ وَيُونُسَ وَلُوطَ وَكُلًّا فَضَّلْنَا عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. We gave him all these amazing children. Who's the actual winner here? Because he trusted Allah, he turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? And so when Allah Ta'ala says we chose them, we guided them on the straight path. That is the guidance Allah Ta'ala chooses and whoever he wants from his slaves. Okay? But Allah Ta'ala says, but look, the goal wasn't that, okay, look how great these people are. Look at the last part here. If they had made shirk, Allah Ta'ala would nullify everything that they did. Allah is saying about Anbiya, about prophets. If they did shirk, they'd be completely wasted too. Because the goal is not to just say, wow, how great Ibrahim alayhi salam is. You're supposed to say, you are the goal. I am the goal here. Allah Ta'ala wants us to move away from all the false objects of worship in life. We need to turn away from all these things. Not just what, oh, look at how great Ibrahim alayhi salam was, but you and I need to do this in our life. Okay? Changes in creation, they show that they are not God. Why are we mentioning this? Because if you're looking at the star, the moon, and the sun of Ibrahim alayhi salam's time, we have the same thing in our time. The star, which is our family, the moon, which is our money, the sun, which is our lives, ourselves, right? And so what happens is what? We start to, when you're traversing the path to Allah Ta'ala, you go through the dark part, the night of your life, okay? Then you start to see certain objects in life. You start to see a star, a moon, a sun. And you think that these are the things I need to worship. What are they? My kids, my job, my dignity, my family, my money. All these things start to become important. And then even though I got to win the debate, I got to get results, I got to get all these things. These are all stars and suns and moons in our life. Don't get distracted of these things. You're supposed to keep going toward the goal of your worship. The goal of the worship is only Allah. You must keep moving, inshallah. Okay? Don't get distracted by things coming and going. Life is just coming and going. That's what life is. You and I are going to come and go too. We came and we're going to go. Don't get distracted. Remember that only Allah remains at the end. We're going to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah for tawfiq, inshallah. And we ask Allah that, inshallah, from this Ramadan, from this fasting, we're doing it for Allah. Okay? You're going to get one happiness, mashallah, when you break your fast tonight. And you're going to get one more happiness, inshallah, when you meet Allah ta'ala. We ask Allah for tawfiq and daya. Wa sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.